we are human, we are animals, we crave the ability to be we. I know it's called me undies. We undies might have sounded differently, right?
Is it a disco now?
Yeah, it's the after party, so it's now we go with the flash.
My goal in life is to be a laptop sticker.
Me too.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.
It's a great honor, Mr. Jaffe. It's always nice to be with you.
I'm so happy to be with you. I'm honored.
Thanks for doing this, too. It's a real service to the community.
Thank you for doing this, Joseph, for doing CoronaTV in general. And it's your gift to the universe, and it's appreciated.
Very human, and I like that.
Look at you! You are insane!
How did I do that?
You're insane!
Thursday, May 28th. Welcome everybody to CoronaTV. You will notice that I am embarking on my first tribal council. I mean, it is exhilarating, it is scary, it is debilitating. But I've got Adam Klein, who is a winner. He is a winner in Survivor. Unfortunately for me, being a Gen Xer, he won Millennials versus Gen X, and I don't think he's a Gen Xer. So, you know, youth wins. Youth wins. Youth and good looks. He has both of them. I have neither. But maybe he'll give me a few tips if I ever decide to embark on that journey. Hello, everybody. Joey Dumont, welcome, my friend, and Bob Farnham. I love this opening too, Bob. It just makes me smile. It really does. When you realize that you have to give to get back, and you have to give without expecting to get back. That is where generosity is the ultimate superpower, and that's why I believe so strongly in it. So today we're going to talk to Adam Klein, and I'm just so happy to spend time with him, because I was thinking about this even when we were talking in the background. Survivor always was a metaphor for life. But I think now, more than ever, Survivor is a metaphor for life in quarantine and life during COVID. When we think about things like determination and adversity and resilience, this is what Survivor, the gift that Survivor has actually given to us. And so, I'm looking forward to talking to him and sharing some of those insights as well. Adam joins all of my guests over there. And, sometimes you do need to take a step back and from a macro standpoint, be able to just look at the body of work and realize and appreciate how far you've come and what you've in fact been able to create. And I love the tapestry of humanity. And I love the tapestry of just looking at everybody's faces. Let me show you them again. And particularly the smiles, the laughter, the joy. That is the real gift. That is the gift that I've been given by being able to present this show to you guys as well. So the gift works both ways. I do want to take the opportunity and really talk to you about something that I believe is the best practice. So maybe it's time to start asking you guys. In fact, whomever is watching, apparently the YouTube and Facebook and all these algorithms, they like likes and they like comments and they like shares and they like subscribes as well. And so I guess, if I'm putting my principles into practice of flipping the funnel, it would be how to use existing customers to gain new ones. And so I would like to ask you guys to like this show, like it right now, comment, share as well, share this with other people, tell people about it if you like it and if it is valuable to you. And if it isn't, don't. But if it is, please do. And of course, subscribe on coronatv.show or jaffejuice.tv. It means a lot to me, and it will allow this content to be seen by more people. One other thing just to tell you, I don't normally like to make this about me, but at 3:30 today, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm actually going to do my first Instagram live. I've never done one with two people on screen at the same time. And Nadia Bulchik is going to be talking with me and interviewing me. We know Nadia, South Africans know Nadia as I think the first CNN correspondent and anchor. She joined CNN International. And so Nadia and I are going to be having a conversation. And if you want to interact with us, please join at 3:30 today. I can say that obviously because the show is live right now. So May 28th, happy Hamburger Day, everybody. It's important to have a little bit of levity because there's a lot of seriousness as well in the show today. But let's focus on birth and birthdays and life to start. Coach Rod, my son's soccer coach, happy birthday to you, and Shiv Singh, who wrote the book Savvy. What a brilliant, brilliant man he is, how smart he is, talking about fake news and how to interpret and how to respond to disinformation or misinformation. I want to thank all my LinkedIn friends. I forgot to mention you on the show yesterday, but I want to mention you now for yesterday. And then, of course, those that are celebrating today on LinkedIn, happy birthday to you. As I said to you earlier, there is a little bit of seriousness. And it warrants and it requires the ability to look at that number. And we passed a grim milestone yesterday. I think we all are aware of the fact that yesterday we reached 100,000 US deaths. And I don't even want to show my face at the moment. What I would like to ask you guys to do is just take a few moments with me to pay tribute to the memory, to the souls of the departed. And you know what? We are with them right now, but more importantly, we send our love to the people that they left behind. So please join me in a moment's silence. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you sharing this with me. And now it is time for what I hope will become a little bit of a regular in the show. It's the seated soliloquy. And today I want to talk to you about uncertainty. What's the one question in life you wish you knew the answer to? And in doing so would give you the certainty or peace of mind that could change your life forever. For me, it's, is there life after death? Yesterday, as I just mentioned, we hit the grim milestone of 100,000 US deaths. 100,000. Wouldn't it be better knowing, as the saying goes, they're in a better place? Perhaps you can't relate to a number that big, unless, of course, and God forbid, someone close to you is on that list. For me, I think about the memory of my father. Tonight, I will light a candle to commemorate 45 years since his passing. Yes, I wonder if he's looking down on me and smiling. And if so, I hope he's proud of me. It gives me comfort in having the faith that there is something after this life, but definitive proof, I have none. We might not know if there is heaven, but there are actually some who believe that this life is actually hell, which would explain a lot when trying to make sense of the global pandemic. As much as I would like to know the answer to my burning question of uncertainty, I wonder how my life would change if I knew the definitive answer. If this is it, would I live my life to the max? And if so, why am I not living it to the max right now? Or if this is a stepping stone in transit, how would that alter my outlook on and approach to life? Truth is, I have no clue about any afterlife, and I have no control over it as well. I do, however, have control over right here and right now, and that gives me all the certainty I'll ever need for now. Well, thank you for indulging me. Now would be the time that I bring on my guest. But before I do that, I have one more light at the end of the tunnel. I have the silver lining right now, and we need that silver lining. And that's to announce that my niece just became a mother. Sarah and Jonathan Levine in Israel just had a baby girl. So I want to wish them a big mazel tov. And I actually became a great uncle. And listen, there's nothing great about me, but I became a great uncle. And the circle of life is complete. We spoke about birthdays. We spoke about me commemorating the passing of my father. We spoke about, or we joined in together a moment of silence for 100,000 deaths. And now we ended up talking about new life. So life is what it's all about. To life, as they say, to life, l'chaim. And now I can actually bring to life my guest, who has been waiting patiently in and also doing a little bit of magic in the background. Let's see if this works. Hey, Adam, welcome to the show.
Hi. Okay. I really wanted to watch your intro, but my internet has not been cooperating, and I've been frantically moving around in my house here trying to figure out how to get back. I'm just on my phone now because I gave up. I was like, this is ridiculous.
And the funny thing is, I saw you left, and then I was like, be cool, Joe, be cool. You know, don't let them smell the fear. But you made it back in time.
I felt so bad for you because I was like, he has no idea. He might have just thought that I was like just leaving, like never coming back. Like, gotcha.
Well, exactly. I was like, damn it, you know. I'm going to be amazed.
I had such a good microphone that I was using too.
I know you had the Yeti. Well, Bob, who just said you can watch the recording. I guess you can. And Bob has. Bob will be in the Zoom after show afterwards, and he has got a mic, let me tell you, that puts that Yeti to shame. So I just want to say a few more little hellos. Well, first of all, Steve Garfield says he likes the content. Clearly, he's referring to you, Adam, not me. I get that. And my mom is watching. You know, Adam, I don't know if you saw in my seated soliloquy. Tonight is actually 45 years since my father passed away, and I paid tribute to him, and I also spoke about this burning question in life, which is if there was one answer, one question I could get an answer to, it would be, is there life after death? It's that certainty of knowing that our loved ones are in a better place, or that there's a better place for us. And I basically resolved it by saying, hey, we'll never know and we'll never have control over that, but we certainly will have control over right here and right now. So thank you for doing this, by the way, and joining the show.
I remember I had a conversation once with my mom shortly after my dog passed away, which was not too long before my mom actually passed away. And I remember talking to her about how we just want to believe that there's something else, and how we wish we could convince ourselves, because it would make life so much easier. If you knew you were just going to see everybody in a little bit, then it doesn't make the goodbyes so hard.
And of course, when we think about all the people that have passed away during this global pandemic, for me, I think the most tragic aspect of everything. Oh yeah, I saw you just came back.
Hold on. Yeah. Should we try the computer?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
let's see if that works.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, wait. I need to close out on my phone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, I'll pause that.
Let's see if that works.
Are we good?
I don't know. We may have found actually.
Are we here?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I mean, I can see you frozen. It turns out maybe that the phone was the better option. You want to go back to it? I think we need to. I guess I am cursed by technical difficulties. You see, Bob, you had to jinx it by saying nice mic. And this is exactly what happened. So I think he's going to come back as well. And yeah, I mean, listen, this is all part of life, right? The uncertainty of life, Adam.
That clearly didn't work very well. This is all on my end, by the way. Nothing, this is, I don't know what's going on. It was working and now it's not. My apologies. Sincerely.
So I want to tell you about something quickly, which is, early on in my consulting career, when I left the corporate world, I created a training program, and it was called PowerPoint Doesn't Suck, You Do. But the idea was, the problem is in PowerPoint, right? It's the people who use it or how you use it. And actually, one of the things that I was going to do I never finished it because I think I got busy, I was training salespeople, and they would present to me, and they would no doubt be presenting off a laptop and PowerPoint. And then at some point, what I was going to do was just boom, just close the laptop and say, you know what, you just had a power failure, or your battery just died, or you've got a demanding client that was like, you know what, I'm sick of PowerPoint. Just tell me the story. Just tell me about your company or yourself. And if you can't improvise, if you don't have a plan B, then it's like shame on you. And it's hard though, because I mean, who's going to go into every presentation with that plan B? But as I say to public speakers now, you need to have your entire presentation at a minimum printed out, just in case the laptop dies. So did I have a plan B if you didn't come back? Hell no. No, I'm kidding. I did. So here's what I've done is I've got like video clips of like various, stories or whatever the case may be, and I can go to those as my plan B. So I never ever will go to them unless, something happens like this. And hopefully it works. But anyway, how the hell are you?
We're going back on the computer. I'm here now. We're good. I don't get to use the Blue Yeti microphone, but I'm here.
You know what? We'll do a follow-up one day when the internet is back. Because I mean, I started writing questions for you, and I realized that, like most, of my interviews, I probably don't even need them. But there were so many things that seemed super relevant with respect to Survivor. As in, why did you decide to do it, and everything about the audition, and then you brought up your mom, and I didn't say this to you before, and I wanted to. There's a photo of you and your mom, and I feel like I got a chance to obviously get to know her through you in the show. But one thing you don't know is that my mom is watching as well. My mom has lung cancer, and just today she got results back. It's been 4 years now since she was diagnosed, and thank God all her markers are normal. And it's something that the two of us who knew have in common. And you made me want to say, even in the introduction, that I'm a mommy's boy, big time. Always have been, always will be, and I'm proud of it. And thank you for encouraging me to bring that out.
Yeah, I said the same thing in my Survivor audition video. You and I are the same in that way. Very cool. So
I wanted to talk about, aspects of Survivor, but not hey, what was Jeff Probst like? And, but really just about you, the person, and the growth and the learning that you went through. And the first thing I thought to myself is, I honestly believe this, that I would suck at Survivor. I don't think I could outplay. I don't think I could outwit, and I don't think I could outlast. I think I would be so neurotic and worried about it. It's like I hated birthday parties because I was always worried no one would show up to them. And I was just thinking to myself, that insecurity, that neurosis of people ganging up on you. It's debilitating, and yet you went for it. You realized the dream and you went on Survivor. Were you? How scared were you?
Well, I think what you're doing right now is practicing for Survivor, and you don't even realize it, because the most important part of the game is the ability to connect, make relationships, make friendships. And a big part of that is listening and figuring out people's stories and letting them share who they really are with you. And when they do that and they expose themselves in that way, then they're exposing their vulnerabilities and they're letting you in. And the more they let you in, the more they're going to trust you. And the more they trust you, the more options you have in the game, the further you're going to go, the more likely you are to win. So the ability to connect with people, learn about them, and show that you care is paramount to Survivor. And so all of the stuff about starving or, being scared or whatever, if you can do those things, but also get to know the people around you, even while being scared and starving, then the scared and starving is secondary to the relationships that you're building.
So you come onto this game, you have an idea of what it's about because you're a super fan, self-professed, and you've demonstrated how you've been a scholar and how you've studied it. But from the get-go, because I keep coming back to the fact that Survivor is the ultimate metaphor for life now more than ever. Did you on day one believe that you were going to win? Did you, like, in your heart say, I'm the winner, or was there that doubt?
Yeah, no, I really did believe that I could win. I really believed that I had a shot. I also believed that I could be the first one out. I'm the type of person that I think it needs a little bit of time to get a foothold, especially I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the strongest guy. If you're looking around at who's the weakest on the tribe, you might often look at me. And so I need a few days in order to get my bearings and establish trust with people before they can just decide, you know what, he's one of the weaker ones, so let's just make our tribe stronger by voting him out. And so I believe that if I could survive early, that I would have the potential to win because I understand what the game is really about. I think you've had a lot of super fans come on the show and they think that because they've watched the show and they understand numbers and how you can use idols in different situations and these different permutations of swap combinations and merge combinations and that sort of thing, that they can win the game. But that's not what the game is about. I mean, it helps to know those things, sure, but if you let everybody know that you know those things, and if you're not good at making friends and making relationships, then none of those things will matter. Ultimately, the social part is by far the most important. And so being a super fan in and of itself is not an inherent advantage. And so I actually hid the fact that I was a super fan the first time I played. That was actually my brother's idea, because it doesn't actually make people want to work with you more. In fact, it might make them more scared of you. And there's just no benefit to sharing that information with everybody.
So now there is something that you said in your response that I wanted to pick up on. And you said you knew you were going to win. In other words, be the last person, or last, in this case, last man standing.
I knew I had a real shot.
But you also said you could have been the first voted off. And inherent in that is this idea that there is a fine line between genius and madness, right? Between winning and losing. And it is so fine, and sometimes it's an invisible thin line. It is that moment that you put it all on the line. And you had one moment now in Winners at War, which I think you probably know which one I'm going to be talking about. It was the infamous fleur-de-lis at Tribal Council, and I have to tell you. Well, so first of all, let me tell you that I was so bummed that it wasn't an idol. You deserved it. You deserved it to be an idol. In fact, what they should have done is gone back and hollowed out that podium to have put an idol in there, because it was just so creative. And I actually saw what people said about you, and they said this was a moment that if it had worked out, Adam would have gone down as one of the greatest of all time, which you still are, but it would have been a top 5 Survivor moment. And I just thought there is so much to be learned from what you did. You took a chance. You were desperate, as it turns out, but you went for it and you put it on the line. And I think people can just benefit so much from that moment and going for it.
Well, I think in Survivor and in life, you have a couple choices in moments like that. You can go for the win, which is what I tried to do. But in the process, by really going for it, you do risk certain things. You risk failure. You risk embarrassment. You risk sort of having to start over. The other option is to sit back more quietly, maybe make it further in the game, which I think I would have if I wouldn't have played so aggressively that round, maybe even get to the end of the game. But if I did get to the end of the game, I surely would have lost if I had taken the other approach. So you can get far in life by playing it safe. You can get a good job, you can move up in the ranks, you can have a good, solid, decent life. But if you really want to knock it out of the park, do something different and crazy, like what you're doing here, you're taking a big chance with this and putting a lot of time and energy and investment into it. If you want to win the game, then you need to take some chances at strategic opportunities. And I took a lot this season because I knew it would take a lot to win the game. I knew that I was coming in with a relatively low threat level in the game, and that in order to win, I would have to be the best. And in the process of trying to be the best, I lost. And I lost in a way that a lot of people could see as a bit embarrassing. I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of miscalculations, and then in the final moments, I tried to play a piece of the set as an idol. And it didn't work this time. But if I could do it 1,000 times, I would do this each and every time, because a few of those 1,000 times I would win the game. If I sat back, 1,000 times out of the 1,000 times I would not.
And as it turns out, it actually had been done in my original country, in my home country, in South Africa.
And I know the South African version of Survivor, and I've seen that.
And now I know that you knew that. And but also that was the ability to be a good listener and to pay attention to detail and to be strategic in terms of playing that. But thank you what you said about what I'm doing as well, and taking chances and risking it. And I guess, part of this journey is that you don't even realize it's a risk at the time. You're just doing it and going for it, and not overthinking it. And I think I'm kind of curious, when you look back on your journey and your growth, what was the one thing that came out of at least the first, well, actually, I'll ask it in 2 parts. There was part 1, you've done it twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So part 1 and part 2, what surprised you about yourself the first time and the second time that kind of led to your own evolution and growth?
Well, the first time I went out and the second time, I thought that I needed to win, that was the ultimate goal. I mean, for me, the first time I went out there, the goal was to bring as much joy back to my family as possible, because my mom was going through stage 4 lung cancer, and we needed as much as possible to look forward to in our lives. And so I figured the longer that I lasted in the game, the better I did, the more we had to look forward to as a family. So getting to the end of the game was more important for what it meant for my family at home than it even was for what it meant for me. This time around, I thought I was coming back to sort of finalize that destiny, because when I was a teenager, I remember telling my parents, I want to get on Survivor. I want to win Survivor. I want to be popular enough that I get invited back. I want to win again, and then I want to become the host. So this is all part of the journey. And I did get on, and I did win, and I did get invited back. But then I didn't win again. and I'm certainly not the host. So
Yes. Yes.
Sure. Well, maybe I need to win again first in order to complete the destiny. But I realized when my dad came out for the loved ones visit this time that what I really needed was for my dad to experience what I had felt on those islands the first time around, with my mom really being there with me each and every moment of that game. And then my brother got to come out for the loved ones visit the first time around. And so my dad was the only person that hadn't yet experienced that spiritual connection with my mom on those islands in Fiji. And I needed him to experience that. And so when the Edge gave that to me, it made me realize that I got what I needed out of it despite not winning.
That's a great response. And, you know, we were talking about things that surprised you, but there was also the way people perceive you. And I'm not just talking about the people that your castaways, right? Your castmates, but people at home. Talk a little bit about kind of how do you believe you were cast, in a sense, your character, your archetype? How much of that is the real Adam, or how aligned is basically the Adam on Survivor with the Adam that I'm talking to right now?
I think it's pretty accurate because I never really knew where I fit in terms of casting archetypes. I think if you go back a number of years, you know, there's a lot of similar kinds of people that tend to appear over and over on Survivor. And I had never really seen myself on the show until I saw Spencer Bledsoe from Survivor Cagayan season 28. And I saw him on the show right after I applied for the first time. And so seeing someone that I felt was kind of like me, that didn't really fit into any specific boxes, like, yes, he's a really smart guy, so maybe kind of the nerd category, but he's also social. And so he's not like the, you know, like I'm a super duper nerd kind of guy. And so I'm not like nerdy enough to be the nerd, but I'm not like big enough to be the athlete. I'm not anything enough to be like any specific archetype or character type for the show. So seeing somebody on there that I also felt like was kind of like me, and didn't really fit into any boxes, was kind of another push that, like, okay, like maybe I am on the right track here. Maybe I don't need to fit into any certain boxes. And so it was a boost of confidence that I needed to get on the show. And I still think that ultimately on the show, you saw me in many ways for who I am. I mean, the first time I played, I was very raw, very vulnerable. My mom was sick at the time, so it was a really scary time for me. And I think that you really saw that obviously in the show. This time around, I think you saw that I was a bit more lighthearted, and that that I'm a game player, and that I'm respectful, and that even when things don't go my way, I'm not gonna be a bad sport or make personal jabs at anybody. Ultimately, it is a game, and I'm very grateful for the experience that I had and for the people, the legends of the game that I was able to play with.
So when I put this together, Survivor winner, motivational speaker, spokesperson, and cancer research advocate, I want to get to being an advocate for cancer research. And good for you, and it's just fantastic what you're doing and why, and clearly how important it is to you. But I'd like to talk a little bit about the kind of what now and where you go from here. Share a little bit about the things, your keynotes and the things you're speaking about, and how you're taking these lessons and learnings and insights from Survivor and now putting that into something that can help other people in a conference or a presentation sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Survivor is parallel to life in so many different ways. And so a lot of my speaking engagements use some stories, you know, from my time growing up, my time on the show, to just talk about some of the things that each and every one of us face every day. I mean, one of my main speaking topics is resiliency. and the ability to bounce back. And after my mom passed away, right when I got home from filming Survivor, we had a choice. You know, we could just feel sorry for ourselves, or we could try to make my mom's legacy as lasting as possible by sharing her story and by helping that story help other families not have to go through the same kind of nightmare that ours went through when it comes to lung cancer. You know, lung cancer is a very, very misunderstood and underfunded disease. And my mom never smoked a day in her life, you know, worked out every day, ate totally organically. So I was one of the people that never really thought that my mom could get lung cancer. And now I know so much better. And there's still so many people out there that I think don't even realize that it's even a possibility for them, and that you don't need to have smoked or lived in a smog-filled environment or anything like that. Like, a lot of people ask, like, well, how did your mom get lung cancer? We don't ask, well, how did somebody else get breast cancer? You got unlucky. You know, it's that you can't always ascribe it to something. And so, unfortunately, I'm one of the bigger names, and I'm not famous. You know, I'm not like a big name, but I'm one of the bigger names that is even willing to say the words lung cancer. You know, there's a lot of stigma around the disease, and even when people pass away from it, a lot of the times it's not even put on their obituary, because if they did smoke, they don't want people to think that they did it to themselves. And if they didn't smoke, they don't want people to think that they did. And so there's so much shame and stigma around this disease that if I can help alleviate some of that, even in a small way, then that's something that I want to do. I also speak about our ability to reach far higher than we think we can, that we are far more capable than we think we are. And I think a perfect example of that from Survivor is from a challenge this season where I had to jump for a key that I basically couldn't reach, and neither could my two teammates. We were both pretty short, and we had to jump high and grab this key, and I jumped a dozen times and missed, and we were falling 15-20 minutes behind in this challenge. And what helped me eventually able to grab the key was somebody shouted from below, "Go for the buoy." And the buoy was what was hanging above the key. The key was hanging off of the buoy. And by jumping, by attempting to jump even higher than what I was going for, by shooting even higher than I thought I could reach, I missed the buoy, but I was able to grab the key. And I think that's such a good metaphor for life, because if we just think that we're capable of 80% and we go for 80%, we're not going to reach 80%. If we go for 100%, we're much more likely to reach 80% and beyond. If we set a ceiling for ourselves, then we hit our head on it no matter what we do. But if that ceiling is higher, then we can jump even higher.
You are a natural, and I think that Survivor is maybe a little bit of a red herring in terms of how you got from there to here. Because I think I was listening to it, and I was thinking of my mom as you were talking. She reminds me that the disease is being contained and she's stable at present. But she also said, "So sweet," which I'm imagining now was talking to you, because it wouldn't have been to me. But that was beautiful. And Jan said, "Go for the buoy." I think that's a hashtag that deserves to trend. It was great, and I can see now, it's pretty obvious to me how you've used. It's just yet another life experience to continue to create this beautiful foundation and this message. And so it's actually, I decided to update your bio, by the way, Adam, not in Wikipedia, but now it says Survivor winner and soon to be host, as well as motivational speaker, spokesperson, and cancer research advocate. Adam, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. The technical stuff is, it all pales into obscurity when we think about life is short, make the most of our time, audition for Survivor, and if not literally, figuratively as well. And I just want everybody out there to know that Adam is going to spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes in the Zoom room with us if you want to come and hang out and just hear a couple of stories, or even maybe some of the audition tips from him. Adam, I would love for you to have the final word, and let's bring it back to people that are watching the show, if not live, you know, kind of post-recorded. There are people at home. There are people that are scared. There are people that have lost their jobs. There are people that have always wanted to go on Survivor. What advice would you give them, both in terms of, you know, Survivor, going on Survivor, but specifically how to kind of pick themselves up and stay, you know, keep their head above water?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're in a time where I think panic can start to set in if you're not careful, and it can be a scary time. I remember shortly after my mom passed away, I was having a conversation with my dad, and there's this blind man that walks around the neighborhood 3 miles a day. And I was talking to my dad, and he was like, I cannot believe that guy's able to do that. I don't understand how he's able to do that. And I said to my dad, and all of this is true, I was like, in the last year, you've lost your wife, your dad, your best friend, and your dog. And if I would have told you that a year ago, what would you have said your response would be? And he said, I would have said that I literally wouldn't be able to survive that it would literally kill me. And here you are. And we end up overcoming things that we don't even ever imagine that we possibly could, because sometimes we don't have any other choice. That the reality for that man, that blind man walking around the neighborhood, is he can say, woe is me, and he can become a shut-in and never go anywhere because of limitations that he thinks he has, or he can say, this doesn't limit me, this doesn't define me, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to make it work because I want to get outside and I want to walk around the neighborhood, and that's what I'm going to do. And when he makes the decision to do that, then he's going to do it. Sometimes I think it comes down to a decision. Am I going to make my life better in this moment? Am I going to start this new job? Am I going to apply for Survivor? Am I going to get on Survivor? And you have to decide that you're going to. And with my dad, the options were what? That he would literally die? That's not a good option. That's not an acceptable outcome. So the other option is the only other option. It's live. And that's what I choose to do on a day-to-day basis. That's what my dad is doing. He is married again now. He is happy and doing well. And during this scary time, I think we have two options, but only one of them is acceptable. And that acceptable option is live. And we have a decision to make in regards to that, each and every one of us. So there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be challenges. But the choice is, do we let it defeat us, or do we continue to live?
Adam, Klein, thank you so much for coming in. I will see you in the Zoom room in a brief moment, and really appreciate you are wise beyond your years, and you're going to continue to kick those Gen Xer butts for decades to come as we get older. Thank you. Yeah, that was Adam Klein. And let me tell you something. I was thinking as he was talking, the wise Adam Klein. We often talk about a situation and we say it's a life or death situation. And I was thinking to myself, no, we need to be able to say it's a life and death, life and death. The two live together. The two are willing bedfellows. Today's show was all about celebration of life and new life, but also commemorating memories and commiserating and thinking about it. And this is our choice. We have the choice every day. It is clear from listening to Adam that there is only one choice, and that is to choose life. Thank you, everybody, for giving me some of your very precious time, and I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody.